Tarik Skubal dominates on Sunday, while the Padres and Giants win on the road in the National League East. This is MLB Game Night.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the postgame reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into MLB Game Night, where we are recapping every single game every night, as only the Locked On Podcast Network can do it. I'm your host, Lindsey Crosby, host of the Locked On Braves postcast over on Locked On Sports Atlanta. Follow me on social media at Crosby Baseball. That's Jeff Carr, host of Locked On Reds. Follow him on social media at Jeff F. Carr. And Jeff, a lot to get to in today's show. Robbie Ray just somehow cannot lose a start. The Cubs catchers continue to dominate baseball, and the Royals did a bunch of work late to avoid getting swept by the Twins. But before we do that, we've got to talk about Tarik Skubal. The Guardians have been in town terrorizing the Tigers for a 4-game set now. But on Sunday, the Tigers win 5-0, and Skubal is absolutely magnificent. Here's Scott Bentley of Locked On Tigers to break down everything that went right for Detroit in this one.
You know what's really cool about the Detroit Tigers is even when they lose a few games in a row, right? 3-game losing streak going into this game, you just kind of have in the back of your mind, like, okay, we just have to make it until the next Tarik Skubal start, and then we'll be back on the horse. And that is exactly what happened today. I am Scott Bentley, host of Locked On Tigers. A 5-0 victory for Detroit. They are able to avoid the 4-game sweep by taking the final game in this series against division rival Cleveland. The offense has been really poor all weekend, and today, 5 runs, a little bit better. Nice to get a bounce-back performance, actually tag Cleveland pitching for any runs. But the story of this game is Tarik Skubal, his first career complete game, shutout, absolutely fantastic. 13 strikeouts, no walks. I don't even think he had a 3-ball count, maybe 1. He was dominant. He was completely and utterly dominant. He's the best pitcher on the planet. He had 103 miles an hour fastball to end the game. Fewer than 100 pitches, a Maddox, just... he's the best. And now you can carry that momentum, despite losing 3 or 4 to a division foe, into your next series. Tarik Skubal is an absolute beauty. We'll talk about that and more tomorrow on Locked On Tigers.
I'm asking you 9 innings, Tarik Skubal, Paul Skeens. You got your house on which pitcher gives up a run first. I think Paul Skeens gives up the run first. I think Tarik Skubal, I think Scott's right. I think he's the best pitcher in the ballgame.
I think right now, where we are in this Major League season, if I had to pick one guy, my house is on the line, I'm picking Skubal. Like that's all it is. Simply because, yes, Skeens was great. We've seen situations where he struggled. We really haven't seen situations where Skubal's struggling. I mean, even Chris Sale was a little bit shaky early this year. Skubal's just been dominant now for about a year and a half. Give me Skubal 7 days a week and Sunday after church.
Yeah.
On the Guardians side, again, they won 3 games out of this 4-game set, but they just don't feel great about how this one went. Here's Justin Lada from Locked On Guardians with his thoughts on what it's like to just get steamrolled by Skubal.
Well, it felt like the Cleveland Guardians were always destined to lose this game, facing Tarik Skubal on a Sunday at 11:35 a.m. after a nighttime prime game. What's up? This is Justin Lada from Locked On Guardians. Guardians, at least, were not no-hit. There was no perfect game, even though Tarik Skubal shut them out. Threw a complete game, struck out 13. He dominated them in every way. And honestly, the lineup the Guardians threw out was kind of a hangover lineup and wasn't to be unexpected. No Steven Kwan. Carlos Santana was out. Everybody was kind of taking a seat in this one. Logan Allen wasn't good. No shock there either. But the Guardians took 3 of 4 this weekend from Detroit, which is honestly better than we all thought coming in. I would have been happy with the split personally. I took 3 of 4, and they are ahead already in the tiebreaker scenarios. They're only 4 games out leaving, and given where the Guardians were last weekend after the Red sweep, much better shape than they were. And Nick Enright got to make his debut battling cancer. over the last couple years, finally made a comeback and was able to get in the mound his Major League debut on Sunday. There's your silver linings. Guardians took 3-4. Nick Enright makes his debut. Guardians are back in action on Memorial Day. Listen to Locked On Guardians for more.
Here's my question for you, Jeff. Logan Allen had 2 errors in this game, 2 of the 3 Detroit errors, and his throwing error in the 5th inning is what allowed a run to score. So his line is officially 5 runs in 3 2/3 innings, but only 4 earned. If it's a throwing error on the pitcher, should that be an earned run?
Yes, absolutely. Because it feels like if I'm a pitcher and I'm fielding some sort of ground ball and I see this is just not going to work out, man, I'm like booting that thing into like the 3rd row, save my stats. Because, I mean, that's a difference. That could be a difference in $1 million for them.
It's just such a weird concept. Like, I understand if a third baseman makes an error, you can't control that. You had the ball. You made the throw.
Yeah.
It should be on you. But, okay, now with the dominant performance of the day out of the way, we're going to go sea to shining sea for Memorial Day. We'll start in our nation's capital, Giants at Nationals. Giants took this finale 3-2. And the big thing for me, we're going to hear from Ryan Clary from Locked On Nationals. But Robbie Ray just somehow can't seem to lose. He is now 7-0 on the year. Real quick, here is Ryan Clary's thoughts, again, from Locked On Nationals about the loss to the Giants, and then we'll break down what actually happened.
The Scrappy Gnats, they're going to be the Scrappy Gnats, man. Down 3-1 in the 9th inning. They make it a little bit interesting there. CJ Abrams doubles, James Wood doubles to make it 3-2. Then, unfortunately, the Nationals could not get it done with Nathaniel Lowe and Alex Call at the plate. I'm Ryan Clary from Locked On Nationals, and the Nationals just lost their first series for what feels like forever. They lost against the Giants on Friday night. Yesterday, they won a big-time game, and today, despite a late comeback, they did fall short. But I want to talk about this real quick. The lineup. Davey, you have not had a consistent lineup all year long. You're putting in Dalen Lyle batting 6th in today's game. Where is this for Dylan Cruz when he is healthy? Where was this for CJ Abrams back in the day? You have Dalen Lyle batting 6th in this lineup. It does not make sense. Then ultimately, pinch hitting Josh Bell later on in the game. Davey, what's going
Fun fact here, they've run 33 different lineups this year. Is the concept of just keeping the same lineup day over day, is that overrated or underrated?
I always hearken back to the fact that, we think about one of the best teams that was ever assembled, the Big Red Machine back in the 70s. We call them the Great 8, right? Like 7 of the 8 guys in the Hall of Fame. Those guys actually were on the field all at the same time for a total of 82 games.
Wow.
Like even back then, even back then, the idea of having a consistent lineup for whatever reason, it's just a foreign concept. And you think about what the Dodgers do. The Dodgers play a platoon at like every other position that Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, and Shohei Ohtani DH, but you get the point. Like that just doesn't happen anymore.
Well, the flip side is like the Atlanta Braves would run out the same 9 guys every day if they could. And like in 2023, they did. They used like 8 different lineups all year. So just kind of curious always to kind of hear how that works out. The big thing for me here, like the Giants didn't feel like they wanted to win this game. 0 for 8 with regards to scoring position. I only have 5 hits, but they somehow still win this. Another game that Mother Nature didn't even want them to play. Yankees at Rockies. 5-4 victory for the Yankees. I thought Will Warren was great, but he only goes 4 innings because they have a almost 2-hour rain delay. Here's Stacey Gutsulias from Locked On Yankees, all about the start by Warren and what the Yankees did in Colorado.
The Yankees escaped Colorado with a series win, but not before it was really scary in the 9th inning. I'm Stacey Gutsulias of Locked On Yankees, and Luke Weaver had his first rough inning of the year, gave up a solo shot, and had 2 runners on base with the game hanging in the balance at 5-4, and thankfully he was able to get out of it. His ERA went from 0.40 to 0.76. Awful. Just kidding. He's amazing this year. So the Yankees escape Colorado, winners of 2 out of 3. They are on a good roll. Because as I say on the show all the time, what matters is winning series. You don't have to sweep them all. It'd be nice if you could against the worst team in baseball, but alas, They won 2 out of 3. So we'll have everything you need to know about this game on a special live stream edition of Locked On Yankees on Memorial Day. So join us if you can.
Well, that's fun.
Lindsay, when a team wins 2 out of 3, do we ask what was the margin?
The margin of victory. I mean, 2 out of 3 should be, I think, the most you can reasonably expect. Right. It is very, very hard to beat any baseball team 3 times in a row.
Like, I'm sure there are plenty of Yankees haters out there right now that are just like, they didn't sweep them. I mean, even the Cincinnati Reds swept the Colorado Rockies, but it's professional baseball for a reason. Even the players playing on the Colorado Rockies are professional baseball players. So there's something to this, and I'm absolutely with her 100%. You just win, baby. Just win, as a former sports icon used to say.
There you go. Yeah, just win the series. Talking about winning a series, Dodgers at Mets. They wrapped up on Sunday Night Baseball. Mets won this one 3-1. Another game with a little bit of ugliness. Felt like that was a Sunday thing. Here's Ryan Ficklestein of Locked On Mets talking about what the Mets did to beat LA in this one.
What a difference 48 hours makes after a devastating loss in extra innings on Friday night. The Mets found their way back into the series against the Dodgers on Saturday, and they won the series on Sunday as they took the final 2 games of the 3-game set. This is Ryan Ficklestein, the host of Locked On Mets, and on the show, when it came to this series, I talked about how it would be a battle of strengths. The Dodgers hitting versus the Mets pitching, and the pitching really won out. On Sunday, Kodai Senga really didn't give up much, just a solo homer to Shohei Ohtani to lead off the game. He's settled down from there, got through 5 strong innings, got 1 out in the 6th, and then the bullpen did the rest. 3 2/3 scoreless from the Mets pen. They didn't have Edwin Diaz available. Reed Garrett got the save. Max Kranick, 2 big innings mixed in there. And the Mets are back on track. They had lost 2 series in a row. They finally get back in the win column. And now, with the White Sox and Rockies coming into town next, this could be a great stretch ahead for your New York Mets.
The Dodgers in this one, okay, they hit into 3 double plays. Mookie Betts got thrown out at home by Tyrone Taylor. They went 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position, and they committed 4 defensive errors. So how much of this is, yes, like the Mets pitching was great. How much of this was the Dodgers just like also played a really bad game?
Is it fair to say that when the Dodgers lose, they beat themselves? I don't know. There's definitely some good teams in this league, and the Mets are up there, but it just kind of feels like this was a Dodgers beat themselves type of game. Like, you hate to see it, because if you're a Mets fan, you're totally claiming this win, but this was definitely a Dodgers lost this game.
Yeah, like Landon Knack, 6 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs. Only 1 of those was earned. No walks, 5 strikeouts. He pitched well enough to win, but the defense let him down. The offense let him down. All right, in just a second, we're going to break down Padres Braves, as well as the completely unstoppable catching core of the Chicago Cubs. No idea what that's about, but we'll talk about it next.
There is no better time to get in on the action over at FanDuel than right now, because we've got NBA playoffs. We've got the Major League Baseball regular season, NHL, Stanley Cup playoffs going on right now as well. So much to check out. Plus, you can also look at the futures. I mean, right now, the Detroit Tigers are the best team in the American League, but FanDuel doesn't have them as the favorites to win the American League. That's right. Their odds are at plus 430, right behind the New York Yankees at plus 240. And whenever you look at the National League, it's the Los Angeles Dodgers at plus 150. And then you've got the Philadelphia Phillies at 5-1 as the second best odds there. That's an interesting little bit there. You can check that all out over on FanDuel.com today. Plus, new users with your first $5 winning wager can earn $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. They are America's #1 sportsbook.
Okay, so talking about the whole West Coast, East Coast thing we've been doing, Padres in Atlanta, they take the series finale on Sunday 5-3. They win the series 2-1. And the big thing here is both pitchers were pretty good. Dylan Cease, 5 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. Spencer Strellenbach for the Braves, 7 innings, 4 runs, only 2 earned, no walks, and 11 strikeouts, but multiple Padres homers. Gavin Sheets takes some deep. Jake Cronenworth takes some deep. Manny Machado gets one in the 8th off of the bullpen. And the Braves they had a fielding error there in that 6th inning that gave Sheets a chance to hit with a runner on base. Atlanta was 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position. They're struggling a lot more than the Dodgers are, but it kind of still feels like the Braves are also beating themselves a lot more than we expected them to do going into the year.
Yeah, I mean, the Padres are a super talented team, so giving them extra outs is never a good strategy. But honestly, most major league teams, like giving them an extra out, typically comes back to bite you.
Of the 7 games the Padres have played against the Braves, the only one that the Padres have lost is the game where Michael King was scratched 90 minutes before game time with shoulder soreness, where he later went on the IL. It was a bullpen game, last minute. It's the only one that they've lost, and even that wasn't that big of a loss. It was like a 3 or 4 run loss. So a little bit worrisome there. What the Braves probably should do is get some of these catchers from the Cubs, because the Cubs at your Cincinnati Reds, they're in Great American Ballpark. Cubs win 11-8. We've got something here from Sam Olber of Locked On Cubs about the victory, and then I've got some really fun stats I want to bring after that. So here's Sam.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? The Chicago Cubs come back again in Cincinnati, this time down 5 runs to beat the Reds 11-8. I'm Sam Olber from the Locked On Cubs podcast. I was at a graduation party for a lot of this game, watching on my phone, embarrassing myself socially. What else is new? The Cubs were down. It felt like the headline, and maybe it still is man, this pitching situation is a real problem. Ben Brown was not good again, really didn't give the Cubs a chance, but this offense just came back. Huge hit by Nico Horner to make it a ball game. Reese McGuire gets called up this morning, yesterday afternoon, hits 2 home runs left on left. Carson Kelly was supposed to start on Sunday, but he had an illness, so McGuire had to face the lefty. He hits 2 homers. McGuire hits the home run to tie the ball game, and then Seiya Suzuki, who has just been on a tear, gets a 3-1 fastball. You knew. I wish I was on Twitter, because I know Seiya's ABs. You knew that 3-1 pitch. He was about to tee off on a fastball, and he hit a long 3-run homer, and the Cubs won 11-8. I'm just enjoying the ride with this team. The Cardinals never lose, but you know what? We don't lose a whole lot either.
Think about the best catchers in baseball that you know. Your Adley Rutschman, your JT Realmuto, your Big Dumper out in Seattle. Beating all of them in WAR, Chicago Cubs. Their catchers have 1.8 WAR. They are above Seattle by 0.3 of a WAR, and that was before Reese McGuire launched 2 home runs today. It's just every now and then, one team has one position group that just goes nuclear. This is the one this year.
Right, and like any one guy, if you put them up against the top catchers in the league, you're not going to pick Miguel Amaya. You're not going to pick Carson Kelly. You're definitely not going to pick Reese McGuire. But all of those guys are absolutely raking.
Kelly's hitting 287. Amaya's hitting 286. Reese McGuire popped 2 home runs in an emergency situation on Sunday. Sometimes it just works out for you. And unfortunately, it came at the expense of your Cincinnati Reds. And I'm sorry for that, Jeff. We can move on to
working out. Speaking of working out, it's doing the opposite here in Cincinnati. This is the thing that kills me, is that on paper, the Reds' advantage over the Cubs is pitching. So they have to press that advantage. They didn't. They absolutely got waxed. They gave up a ton of runs on Friday when they had the lead a couple of different times. They gave up a ton of runs on Sunday when they had the lead a couple of different times. The bullpen for the Reds absolutely got destroyed. Where the bullpen came up big a weekend ago, sweeping the Guardians, was an absolute dumpster fire here this weekend for Memorial Day.
Yeah, just that was rough. I hate it for you guys. Another team that I kind of hate it for, the Arizona Diamondbacks. They were in St. Louis to take on the Cardinals. St. Louis won this one 4-3. And we've got fellow Locked On MLB Game Night host JD Haffron here with the breakdown of exactly how they did this and how they took down Arizona.
The St. Louis Cardinals give another full team effort and sweep the Arizona Diamondbacks in a nail-biter at Busch. Hey, it's JD from Locked On Cardinals, and this squad continues to find ways to win ball games, and they do it with contributions from each and every guy in this clubhouse. Sunday, Sonny Gray's on the mound, another quality start. 6 innings, 3 runs, 5 Ks. Nothing special, but it's a solid start against a good offensive team in Arizona. On the flip side, the offense gets a couple of more RBIs from Ivan Herrera, who continues to be a machine in the middle of this order. Mason Wynn goes deep for the 6th time this season, and then it's Victor Scott II, knocking in the eventual game winner on a rocket RBI single that just eats up Ketel Marte at second base, brings in Brendan Donovan, who, just another ho-hum 3-hit day for Donnie. And then there's the defense. Let him down a bit on Saturday, was nails on Sunday, and none better than Nolan Arenado's catch in the 9th inning with 2-1 and 1 out. He tumbles into the third base stands to make a catch, injures his back, but stays in the game as Phil Maton punches out the final hitter. Cardinals win it 4-3. They sweep as exciting a series as you'll see in the month of May. So much fun to watch. For the latest updates and info, be sure to keep it Locked On Cardinals.
We talked about the number one catching group in baseball being the Cubs, number one defense in baseball, Arizona Cardinals. That's kind of back to the Cardinal way of how they've always done things.
Yeah, that they have put together a team that is just surprising me to no end. I really expected them to be at the bottom of the NL Central, and they may very well collapse. They've got a lot of guys playing over their heads right now. Like JD mentioned, Victor Scott. Like Victor Scott batted 179 last year. He's hitting 283 this year. Super big difference from him. I find it intriguing to see if it's going to continue. But I mean, he had 1.7 WAR so far this season. He had negative 0.5 last year. Like
defense can go a long way in that, but the offense has improved a lot too. Let's rapid fire a couple here real quick. Royals at Twins. Royals avoid getting swept. 2-1 win in 10 innings. Here's the thing, like Chris Bubik left them in position to win this game. 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, strikes out 9. They get 9 hits. 4 of them are doubles, right? Kansas City's offense did a lot of work here. Pasquantino has 2 hits. Drew Waters has 3 hits. But ultimately, it comes down to Michael Garcia in the 10th inning, singling in the winning run with 2 outs against Johan Duran. Of all people, they get the best reliever for Minnesota. They get the win there. Minnesota only had 3 hits, which, I mean, just Bailey Ober pitched well, 6 2/3 innings, 1 run. You can't win when you only get 3 hits. It's just not going to work out. Another talking about only a few hits. Blue Jays drop the finale to the Rays 13-0 in Tampa Bay. Ryan Pepio, 7 scoreless innings. Every single Rays starter got a hit. Let me see if I can do this right. Brandon Lowe, Josh Lau, I think, maybe. Backwards. 3 from Brandon Lau, 2 from Josh Lowe. Chandler Simpson had 2. Junior Caminero had 2. Brandon hit a home run in the first. Curtis Mead had a home run in the 7th. Toronto, 4 hits, all singles. Not a way to win a ball game.
Do we think between these 2 winners, between the Rays and between the Royals, which team actually has a chance of catching their division? I'm picking the Royals over the Rays every day.
I'm picking the Royals simply because I think the Yankees have just shown that they're, with Max Fried at the top of that rotation, they're just so good, you may not catch them. The Central's still kind of up for grabs. I feel like nobody's run away with that yet. Another division up for grabs, speaking of, great segue, Jeff. Mariners at Astros. Astros get a walk-off home run, win this 5-3. We've got Eric Heisman of Locked On Astros to break down how they did this.
Holy Toledo, Astros fans. What a game. What a series. Eric Heisman here with the Locked On Astros podcast. Christian Walker, what a game. He not only did he have 3 hits, but he walked off. This is his 3rd time in his career. He had a walk-off hit, and this was an important game as the Astros pull within 1.5 games of the Seattle Mariners. Now, this not only do you beat a division rivals, but this is a team that's ahead of the Astros, and you do it with pitching. The bullpen, once again, was dynamic. Then the offense, you had 13 hits overall, 5 runs. This was a all-around good game while the Mariners struggled defensively and with their bullpen. So we'll talk about this and more on tonight's Locked On Astros podcast.
Just a lot of offense here, 24 hits in this game, but just a lot of this does not convert into runs. 5-3 when there's 24 hits. A little bit surprising that you only score a run on 1/3 of these hits. But Jeff, I want to ask you, on a team that has Sandy Alcantara, is Edward Cabrera the best starter for the Marlins? We'll break that down next, right here on MLB Game Night. The Los Angeles Angels had a win streak last week. The Marlins broke it on Saturday. They put the nail in the coffin on Sunday. Second straight win, 3-0. We've got Locked On Marlins host Jeremiah Geiger to talk about how this one went and the great game from Javier Sanoja and Edward Cabrera.
That is the version of Edward Cabrera that on any given day, he can shut down a lineup. It's Jeremiah Geiger from the Locked On Marlins podcast. Cabrera had his best start of the season, 5 2/3. They were shutout innings, didn't allow a run, 10 strikeouts. The curveball was absolutely cooking today, and the Marlins bullpen in relief did their job as well. Ronnie Enriquez got the save opportunity in the 9th inning. I've been saying how his stuff is so good, he needs a high leverage role. He's not just a middle relief man, and that's not the case. Perfect 9th inning for the save, and the Marlins get the series win in Anaheim. They take 2 out of 3 from an Angels team that had been really hot entering this one. They had won 7 straight games. So it's good to see the Marlins carry some momentum into San Diego for the next part of their West Coast trip. Follow Locked On Marlins for more. Check out the new episode on Monday and every day this week.
Have you ever seen a 96-mile-an-hour changeup? Because Edward Cabrera threw one today. No. It's absolutely absurd. 18 whiffs, a 36% CSW, just absolutely 3 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts. Now, granted, the Angels did a weird thing here. They didn't play Zach Neto. They didn't play Logan O'Hoppe. They only had 3 total hits. Tim Anderson led off, if that tells you kind of what they were doing in this game. But still, just Edward Cabrera might legitimately be the best starter they have right now. It's maybe him and Max Meyer, because it's definitely not Sandy right now.
I was going to say, I was bringing up Max Meyer, but honestly, they're in a good spot. I mean, they're probably looking to trading Sandy Alcantara. It's not the best spot. They thought he was going to be a lot better and they were going to get more for him. But still, they've got 2 young dudes at the top of that rotation that you can count on for the next couple of years. I think that the Marlins have something to build around that pitching staff. And
Ryan Weathers, just heads up on Ryan Weathers. When he's fully healthy and he's back to himself, he's going to be fantastic. A team that when they're fully healthy and when they're hitting right, they can do well. The A's took the finale against the Phillies in Sacramento 5-4. We've got Mark Forzetta of the Phillies postcast. A little bit of a swerve for you this time. Kind of about the wasted effort of Jesus Luzardo in this one.
Strom blowing into the 8th inning. Yeah, this one certainly stings for a number of reasons. One, yeah, sure, it could have been 10 in a row. Sure, it could have been a perfect 7-0 road trip. That would have been fun. But also, Jesus Luzardo pitched his butt off after that first inning where he allowed 3 runs, settled in beautifully after that. 105 pitches, 10 strikeouts, would have picked up with Trey Turner's home run at the top of the 8th, would have picked up his 6th win in the season, improved to 6-0. But Matt Strom, unfortunately, had other ideas. 2 runs on 2 hits and a walk in that 8th inning. It also stings because the Phillies had other opportunities to score runs. No better example than the 2nd inning when JT Realmuto stepped up to the plate with the bases loaded, nobody out. He grounds into the 6-3 double play to kind of kill that vibe in the 2nd inning. Also, Realmuto went on to go 0 for 4 on the day. Bryce Harper 0 for 4 as well. Now they take this off day before hosting the Atlanta Braves for a 3-game series starting at 6:45 Tuesday night.
I am excited for the Braves. Phillies.
Series feels important.
The series feels a little important for Atlanta. But this is one of those games where you're frustrated if you're Jesus Luzardo. 7 innings, 10 strikeouts. He does give up 3 earned runs, but as Mark said, the bullpen kind of blows it there in the 9th. Mason Miller gets his 12th save. Jacob Wilson 3 for 4, Brent Rooker 3 for 4. Like, this wasn't just the Phillies blowing it. The A's earned this win. They really went out there and used the bats pretty well.
I still feel like there's a part of me that believes the A's are still going to have something to say in the AL West. I don't really buy anybody at the top of the AL West, and that opens the door for a team like the A's to just go on some sort of crazy run.
The pitching's still a question for me, but the offense is absolutely there, provided they can all stay healthy. Nick Kurtz is day-to-day right now. So, okay, we've got 3 games. We've got 3 minutes, Jeff. Let's take care of this. Brewers at Pirates. Brewers kind of rally late, 6-5 victory in Pittsburgh. And the big thing here for me, I have never even heard of Isaac Collins before today. He picks up 2 hits. Sal Frelick has 2 hits. Logan Henderson gives them 5 innings of 1 run, 6 strikeout baseball. The Milwaukee Brewers, more so than anybody else, just seem to be able to find contributors up and down the lineup, whether it's rotation, whether it's position player group, and they get this done. The Pirates had a good offensive day. O'Neal Cruz hit the hardest ball in StatCast history. They had 12 hits, and they still lost to the Brewers.
122 miles an hour off of O'Neal Cruz's bat into the Allegheny River, but you get 1 run because nobody else was on base. So that's the key there, is that you keep those bases empty. But you're right. I mean, Logan Henderson, Isaac Collins might as well have been a random name generator, but the Brewers figure out how to make these guys work.
It absolutely worked. Speaking of a team that finally got things to work, the Rangers in Chicago taking on the White Sox. They avoided the sweep at the hands of the White Sox with a 5-4 victory. Patrick Corbin, 5 1/3 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs. He walked 6. Jake Berger gets a home run, a double, 2 RBI. Adolis Garcia has 2 RBI on a double late. White Sox looked like they were going to steal this one too. They had 2 doubles in the 9th. They scored a run, but somebody got picked off. They flew out. They kind of could not capitalize on the opportunity. Did you think the White Sox were going to win this series coming into this, and then have a chance to sweep it?
They've done some interesting things here recently that make me wonder, could the White Sox be fun bad? Like, the White Sox were not fun bad last year. They were just bad. They were just historically bad. They might be fun bad in 2025, and that might be okay.
Talking about fun bad here. The Boston defense, right? The Red Sox dropped the finale 5-1. Listen, Boston had 3 different throwing errors. David Hamilton had one. Marcelo Meyer had one. Ceddanne Rafaela had one. Like, Jarren Duran went 4 for 5. They were all singles, but these teams combined to go 1 for 12 with runners in scoring position and left 14 on base. It was a 5-1 victory, but really nobody won here.
I think the honeymoon is over for Marcelo Meyer. Hey, you got called up and you've already made your first error. Boston's they're waiting for you to get better here, Val. Like, it's tough. It's tough in Boston, and Marcelo Meyer's fine now.
It absolutely is. Thank you for joining us for MLB Game Night. Don't forget to like the video, share with all your friends, subscribe to Locked On MLB wherever you get your podcasts, and on YouTube. We'll hope you come back and visit us next time, because MLB Game Night, every game, every night. For Jeff Carr, I'm Lindsey Crosby. This has been MLB Game Night.